Have you ever seriously wondered how you'd build an artificial intelligence from scratch? I don't mean the nitty-gritty code, but the big ideas, the logic, the actual thinking behind it. Well, today, we're going to walk through the blueprint that lays out exactly how you do it.
No, really, think about it for a second. Where would you even start? What's the very first brick you'd lay down? That question right there is going to frame our entire journey. We're not just going to learn about AI today. We're going to follow the conceptual roadmap to actually build one.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the basic blueprint, the foundation. Then we'll level up to thinking and reasoning. After that comes the huge shift to learning. We'll look at how an AI learns with a teacher, how it learns on its own, and finally, what comes next. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first, the foundation. You can't build a skyscraper without a solid base and a clear plan, right? It's the exact same idea here. This is where we define what our AI even is and what we want it to do.
So we kick things off by defining our AI as an agent. Just think of it like a player in a game. This agent exists inside an environment, and that could be a maze, a chessboard, or, the entire internet. Its very first tools are pretty simple. Basic search strategies. These are just systematic ways for it to explore every possible path to find a solution.
These are kind of like the AI's first baby steps toward thinking. It has no clue what the right answer is, but it has a method for looking. It'll explore one path all the way down, and if that turns out to be a dead end, it just backtracks and tries another one. This is the absolute core logic of problem solving.
Okay, so our AI can search. Great. But how do we make it, smart? How does it go from just blindly stumbling through a maze to playing a strategic game of chess or understanding complex rules? That's our next big step. We have to teach it how to reason. So now we give it a skill upgrade. We introduce some advanced search techniques like Minimax, which helps it play games by thinking, okay, if I make this move, what's the absolute best move my opponent can make in response? We also give it formal logic, which is just a structured way for it to understand facts and rules about its world. And this right here is a huge leap. See, following strict rules is one thing, but the real world is messy, it's uncertain. With tools like Bayes' theorem, our AI can now think in probabilities. It can calculate the likelihood of something being true, which is absolutely critical when you have to make decisions with incomplete information. But even with all these skills, our AI is still just following the instructions we gave it. The next step is a total game changer. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a fundamental plot twist in our story. We're about to stop programming it and start teaching it. And this is the whole idea. Instead of us trying to write a rule for every single possible situation, which is literally impossible, we give the AI a new superpower, the ability to learn from data. It'll now look at tons of examples and figure out the rules for itself. This is the exact moment our creation starts to develop its own intelligence. So how does that work? Well, it's a lot like studying for an exam. First, you've got the training phase. We give our AI a huge data set to study and learn from. Then comes the testing phase, the final exam, where we give it new data it's never seen before. This tells us if it actually learned the concepts or if it just memorized the answers. Now, there are a few different schools our AI can go to. The first, and by far the most common, is called supervised learning. The best way to think about this is like learning with a teacher, who gives you a workbook that already has all the answers in the back. Here, the AI learns from data that's already been labeled. It's like a giant deck of flashcards. We might show it thousands of pictures, all neatly tagged as either cat or dog. And from all that, it starts to pick up on the patterns. This process usually breaks down into two main jobs you see here, regression and classification. And the difference is pretty simple. Regression is all about predicting a number, like the future price of a house or tomorrow's temperature. Classification, on the other hand, is about picking a category. Is this email spam or not spam? Both are incredibly powerful, and both learn from those labeled examples. But what happens when there's no teacher? When there is no answer key? Well, let's move on to the next stage of our AI's education, how it learns when we just let it loose, either by finding patterns on its own or through simple trial and error. This is where our AI becomes a true explorer. With unsupervised learning, it sifts through messy, unlabeled data to find hidden structures all by itself. And with reinforcement learning, it learns a lot like we do. It takes an action, sees what happens, a reward or a penalty, and adjusts its strategy for the next time.
So think of it like this. Unsupervised learning is all about discovery. It's like finding natural groups of customers in your data without you telling it what to look for. Reinforcement learning is all about strategy. It's about learning through trial and error, figuring out the best sequence of moves to win a game by getting the highest score.
And with that, our AI's core education is pretty much complete. We've taken it all the way from a simple little agent that follows